Communication Crashes and Expectancy Violations series by Mackenzie McClure. Presentation, I'm going to be discussing an experience I had with my boyfriend where we had a conflict this year. There was an unexpected change in our communication distance. The situation really is going to be embodying the principles of the expectancy violations theory, EVT, such as interactional expectations, arousal, and threat thresholds, particularly nonverbal communication as well. I'm going to discuss the conflict that I had with my boyfriend and I, and really dive into the expectancy violations theory. And I'm going to use Judy Burgoon to help us all understand the conflict with my boyfriend and how the theory can help and helped me resolve our conflict and the lessons I learned from analyzing the situation in my life through EVT. In my relationship with my boyfriend, physical displays of affection are really important to us and are part of our communication. We've worked really hard to understand each other's nonverbal communication as we've continued to grow as a couple. We know that a hug here and a kiss there is meant to, as a form of support or affection. This really changed for us when one night my boyfriend went to cuddle with me as we fell asleep, and I had pretty much told him not to touch me. Um, I almost felt the need to physically move away from him. It was really awkward for me during this time because I had a change in my appearance, and this was really a violation of his expectations and caused him to view our relationship in a negative light. And this continued on for some time, creating tension in our home as he continued to um, kind of work through this expectation. I had to remove myself pretty much from being in like touching or reaching range. Finally, one day he was rubbing my back and I was not feeling well because we had found out recently my thyroid was going out, and I had been the reason for my sudden change in appearance. And I would really, I would just shudder at the when he would touch me, and he thought it had to do with him, that his touch made me sick, and his negative view was changed to a positive one when we were able to reconcile my illness and the desire not to be touched by the fact that it was my thyroid issue that was causing my change in appearance had been identified. And this was another form of expressing his support and understanding. His negative and positive reactions to the change in my physical expectations are better understood by examining the expectations and violations theory. The expectation violation theory, in its basic form, was put forth by Judy Bagroon. She is a communication professor at the University of Arizona and holds a doctorate in communication and educational psychology. She originally formulated the theory to account for communication effects on proxemetics, violations during interpersonal and group interaction. Proxemetics is the study of how someone uses space. With passing of time, others have also added to this theory. It is through their work that I have been able to come to the understanding of the conflict that I had with my boyfriend. I'm going to share some of my understandings by analyzing my conflict through the knowledge contained in the expectancy violations theory. Now I would like to talk about intimate distance. Intimate distance is a special zone around a person that is between 0 and 18 inches from their body. Um, Conversations occur at this range between me and my boyfriend because he has more of like a snuggly type personality. A typical conversation with him would include words as well as a hand on my arm or on my knee. The longer we're together, the greater the expectation is that we touch or that we touch during our regular conversations. And according to Burgoon, these intimate touches and hugs and close contact that I exchange with my boyfriend are part of an interactual expectation that I have for him. And he expects me to have a very high threshold with regards to his interactions, which this means that we can occupy each other's intimate distance without having a violation. And these expectations and expectancies reaffirm our bond and are important in keeping our relationship strong. And by understanding and using this theory in my life, I can better understand the discomfort caused by unmet expectations. I can now use this understanding to turn around and analyze my assumptions instead of automatically getting upset in cases where the violation balance comes to our out negative. In this case, I could have approached things differently a couple times with my boyfriend. I now realize my boyfriend is putting a lot of emotional reliance on nonverbal communication, and I know that I need to communicate my expectations of not being touched when I feel self-conscious, and this will help not violate either of our expectations. In conclusion, um, with this presentation, I've had the opportunity to review a conflict between myself and my boyfriend, and through the lenses of the expectancy violations theory, I have learned to analyze expectations and violations, arousals and threat thresholds, and a violation balances. Using this theory, I came to and understand diverse ways I can either not have my expectations violated or have the violation be a positive one. Overall, if one understands the underlying expectations in a conversation, one will have better control of the reaction to the potential or actual threats of the conversation. And that's a quote by Shannon L. Alder. I also have added an additional quote on my conclusion. To effectively communicate, we must realize that we are all different in the way that we perceive the world and use this understanding as a guide to our communication with others, by Anthony Robbins. I appreciate all of your time and thank you for letting me present my presentation to you.